You know that moment around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, you sit down to do the one thing you've been putting off all day. And it's like someone unplugged your brain. You read the same sentence 3 times, you walk into a room and forget why. A word that you use every day, it's suddenly just gone, sitting on the tip of your tongue. And the story that we tell ourselves when that happens, it's either I'm just getting older or I didn't sleep well or I need that extra cup of coffee. But here's what almost nobody mentions that brain fog. It has nothing to do with a character flaw and it isn't always age. A lot of the time, it is your blood sugar. And once you get to understand how these are connected, hopefully you cannot unsee it. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Now, welcome back to Prediabetes and the Path to Better A1C podcast. I am your host, Jenny Peña. I am a national board certified health and wellness coach, a diabetes prevention program lifestyle coach, and founder of GenB Coaching. And I help people steady their blood sugar, lower their A1C, and feel like themselves again by regaining their energy and focus without these extreme diets and without having to give up all the foods that you love. Now, a while back, I touched on brain fog and the function of the brain, and I even had an amazing guest. And I will put all the details of those episodes in the show notes. And last week, we talked about blood sugar and dementia. Now, I want you to think about this as that's the long game stuff, right? The research that is linking insulin resistance to cognitive decline. And that is something that shows up later in life. Now, if you missed it, go back and listen. A lot of awesome data it's included in there. But that episode was about a distant horizon. Today, what I will be talking about is that brain fog that probably you felt yesterday afternoon. Is that brain that won't focus today? Because the long term and the short term, they're kind of being built at the same time. And this day to day stuff that I am going to talk about, it's the part that you can actually feel the shift within a week or two. This is what is going to create a change. So let's get to it. Your brain is a glucose hog with a temper. This fact reframes everything. And I will tell you what it is. Your brain is about 2% of your body weight. 2%. But it burns roughly 20% of your energy. It is the single hungriest organ you've got. And guess what the preferred fuel is? Glucose, blood sugar. Now, you would think that more sugar equals more brain power, right? Well, it does not work that way. Your brain does not want more glucose. What your brain wants is steady glucose. It is a lot less like a furnace and more like a high strung sports car that runs beautifully at a smooth, even speed and it sputters and stalls the second you slam the gas and then jam the brakes. And here's the part that matters the most there is a growing body of research that is suggesting that it is not that average blood sugar, that A1C, that is wrecking your focus. It's those blood sugar swings that happen throughout the day. The very steep spike and that deep crash. And I have said that before, and I'll say it again. You can have a normal, average blood sugar levels when it comes to the average, meaning the A1C, and still be riding the roller coaster all day because it takes a while for that to show in those labs. But your brain feels it all the time. From day one, your brain is experiencing the effects of blood sugar imbalance. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about the anatomy of a 3 p.m. crash. And I talk about this a lot on my workshops because it's something that most of you sometimes don't understand. You will understand what it is, but how it's caused sometimes is a bit of a secret. Now, let me walk you through it in a very different way from what I've done before. So, here's what I'm going to walk you through a totally normal looking day that ends in fog, brain fog, that is. Your lunch is a sandwich, maybe chips, maybe you grab a sweet drink, lemonade, soda, pop, fast carbs, not much protein, not much fat to slow it down either. And within about 45 minutes to an hour, I can assure you, your blood sugar it's climbing fast. And for a little while, honestly, you feel fine, maybe even good. But your body sees that spike and panics a little. And when that happens, it dumps out insulin to clear that sugar. And because that spike was steep, it often overcorrects. So now your blood sugar drops way below where it started. And that's what is called a reactive low. That's your 3 o'clock. That's exactly what you feel. That drop is that brain fog, irritability, that hangry edge, that sudden craving for something sweet, the feeling of having heavy eyelids, the inability to concentrate. So your brain, which only wanted steady fuel, pretty much had the rug pulled out from under it. And it does the logical thing, screams for more sugar. So you go grab a cookie or another coffee, and that starts the whole roller coaster over again. Now, this is not a sign of weakness or lack of willpower, or you may be thinking, oh, it's because I have no discipline. I need to be stronger. This is your body's chemistry doing exactly what it's supposed to do. However, this is what your body's doing based on the lunch that you had. And now, if you dig deeper, you can tell that it's not just a crash. There is the inflammation and there is the stress. Now, the crashes that I just explained are the part that you feel hour to hour. And it is normal for your blood sugar to be elevated when you eat, right? Like you're producing glucose, that's just part of the system. It's not about having changes throughout the day, it's about having sharp changes throughout the day. Now, while all of this is happening, there are two quieter things happening underneath that also will cause that brain fog. The first one is inflammation because those repeated high spikes are irritating your blood vessels and your tissues. And then that low grade inflammation that starts generating because of that, it reaches your brain too. And foggy thinking is one of the ways a quietly inflamed brain says something's off. So, first, inflammation. And second, we have the stress loop. And what is this? This one is a sneaky one because it runs both directions. When your blood sugar crashes, your body treats it like an emergency and releases stress and releases the hormones and those same fight or flight chemicals that spike when you're startled, they pull your sugar right back up. So now you've got stress chemistry on top of low fuel, which ends up feeling like anxiety and a racing mind and that wired but tired feeling. And it runs the other way too. Real life stress raises your blood sugar even when you have not had any food, even when you're eating balanced meals. So, a stressful day and a blood sugar spiking day feed each other and amplify the fog. And I'll add sleep to this because it is a multiplier. One bad night of sleep makes your body more insulin resistant the very next day, meaning that the same lunch that I mentioned earlier will give you a bigger spike and a bigger crash and a thicker brain fog, which makes it harder to sleep again. So you see how all these things gang up? And I'm not telling you this to overwhelm you. I'm telling you this because it means that that brain fog has causes. It has a root, real, physical, addressable causes. And that means you can take action and create change. Now, you have listened to me before, most likely, and you know that I love to talk about science, but also give you some strategies, things that you can start doing. So, here are 3 things that you can start today. We're going to get practical, and none of them are a specific diet. They're just simple tweaks that you can start. Now, number one, anchor your first meal with protein and fat, not just fast carbs. And you may think, okay, Jenny, what is this? A breakfast that's only a muffin and a coffee or cereal? You're setting yourself for a roller coaster in motion before you even left the house. So look for protein sources that you enjoy. Some options are eggs, Greek yogurt, nuts. There are good protein powders out there. Whatever works for you. Because protein and fat, it slows the whole thing down. It flattens that first curve in the morning and it tends to mean a steadier afternoon. So you are, in a real sense, deciding at breakfast how clear your 3 o'clock is going to be. Now, number two, take a 10-minute walk after your biggest meal. This is the one that feels a bit too simple to matter, and it is the one that is the most powerful. Because when you move your muscles right after eating, they pull glucose out of your bloodstream without needing much insulin at all. So that post lunch spike, the one that sets up the crash, it gets blunted. 10, 15 minutes, walk around the block, walk around the parking lot. If the weather is not ideal, go up and down the stairs, march in place, put a playlist and dance, be silly. Your brain is going to thank you. Now, number three, and this is a funny one that I tell a lot of people, stop eating carbs naked. What I mean is, when there's a carb on your plate, make sure that you're pairing it. Eat your protein and your vegetables alongside of it. And there's even science out there backing up that starting with your protein and your vegetables will help with your blood sugar balance instead of just hitting the bread and the rice all by itself or eating it first. So you see, it's the same food, but swapping these things will cause a gentler curve. And while we're here, I'm going to mention one more thing. Don't skip meals just to save up calories, please. For the most part, especially if you're dealing with blood sugar imbalance, skipping usually backfires into a bigger swing later. Steady beats heroic every time. And if you want a bonus that pays off the next day, protect your sleep tonight. Your sleep is not separate from your blood sugar, it's upstream from it. So here's what I want to have you walk away with. If your brain has felt a bit slow, scattered, foggy, especially in that afternoon window, the first thing is stop blaming yourself, but start getting curious about your blood sugar. Brain fog, scattered mind is information. Your brain is telling you about the fuel that it's been handed to the brain. And the beautiful part, this is one of the areas around metabolic health that you can fix the easiest. You can steady the swings. And the moment that you start doing that, a lot of my clients notice that brain fog starts to lift in a matter of days, not years, but days. Now, I do talk a lot about my 111 method, and it's incorporated, and it's my very first steps for somebody that is experiencing this. And it's my pre-diabetes roadmap guide. You can grab it for free. I'll put the link in the show notes, and it has an explanation what is happening with your body, maybe questions you can ask your doctor, and labs that probably you want to run just to make sure, and 3 simple steps how to decode that and help you balance your blood sugar. And I would love to hear from you if this episode named something you've been feeling, something that you're curious about. Maybe you have another question or a topic or an area around this that I didn't touch that you would love for me to bring to the podcast. Send me a message. And if you know of anyone that is struggling, maybe it's a coworker, family member, husband, wife, that is dealing with this and they have these scattered brain, send them this podcast. I'll see you next week when we are going to be talking about an organ that not many people may be warning you about and how it's quietly tied to everything that we talked about today and blood sugar. So until then, take care of yourself and thank you so much for giving me space. Have an amazing rest of your week. Bye.